It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, and it's also the 29th day in the month of April 2025. And this is VOP This Morning on Voice of the People Television. I am Fina Okechukwu, and on our radar today, the faction of high-profile politicians are overhyped and add no real electoral value. And this is coming from the former governor of Kaduna State, El-Rufai. While former Governor Lamido wants President Bola Tinubu that the auto practice that Nigeria
I am Chukwuma Okoro. Away from that, obedience will follow Peter Obi anywhere. Now, this is coming from National Coordinator, Dr. Yunusa Tanko.
And yes, of course, 19 lawyers, including 6 SANs, join Nnamdi Kanu's legal team as trial resumes today, Tuesday, of course. Oh, well, welcome to the conversation. These are the conversations that we will focus on today, and we'd like for you to come along with us. If you're watching us on YouTube, of course, I know that's where you're watching us from right now. But just in case you're not certain what the handle is, it's Voice of the People Television. That's how we appear on YouTube. And then on other social media platforms, Instagram and X, we are at VOP TV Live. And talking about TV, we are on SLTV channel 264. So just in case you're moving away or you're running out of data and you want to, you want to continue watching, just put on your television if you have SLTV, and then you can watch us on channel 264. Once again, 264. All right, and we promise to make your day even more excited as you take us along with you everywhere you go.
And that is it. Having said that, with Voice of the People, we have money.
I am Moses Humphrey.
Interesting. I guess maybe you're very, very happy about the fact that we're now on SLTV 264,
yes, I am.
and I understand. But we have other interesting topics that kept the social media buzzing yesterday, and one of it was a backlash from Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu as he criticized Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi, accusing him of lacking the credibility to discuss poverty issues in Nigeria. Responding to Obi's comments at Johns Hopkins University, where Obi compared Nigeria's poverty situation to that of China and Vietnam. Sanwo-Olu pointed to Obi's time as Anambra State governor, alleging that poverty level worsened under his leadership. And this particular one has sparked so much reaction on social media. We have so many persons, coming forward the neck of Babajide Sanwo-Olu. We have other persons also who are supporting him. And then some persons who have the opinion that he is just trying at his best. I'm talking about Babajide Sanwo-Olu now, trying his best to redeem his face at the hands of his predecessor, his principal, his boss. I'm talking about the president of Nigeria. Recall what happened during the 2023 election. That was the first time another particular party will be taking over, will be taking up the votes of Lagosians here in Lagos, where we're broadcasting from. And since then, some persons were of the opinion that so will have not really China, Vietnam, Nigeria, most of them were being seen as countries. China, then June that said that the and so many persons were reacting to this. Some persons also asked what led to that increment, or what led to that, let's say, rise in the poverty was the he left behind. And apart a large chunk of money also of the state, in the coffers of the state before I left. Peter Obi also happened to be the event that pushed the state education level from what it used to be. Remember, I think then why out taking out a number of reporter and giving the and bosses in you know well that he was making mention of to have this backlash. But anyway, that is what is happening now. We're having more like will I say a saga Sanwo-Olu versus Peter Obi.
All right, then let me, before Chukwuma comes, because I know he'll come out with his own analysis, but I'm not going to hold brief for either, because distinguished gentlemen in their rights, governors, one a past governor, the other current governor. I would say in whichever divide, whichever part of the fence you want to sit on, agree that both have done something. If you want to put them side by side, then you might find a little less of than the other. But with let me try. I mean, like I said, I'm not holding brief for any of them. Talking education, comparing Peter Obi's administration, he's 8 years and 6 years. He still has with computers. That's credited to Peter Obi. He built classrooms and provided buses. I think he gave out about 300 computers. Yes, about that. And then on education, Babajide Sanwo-Olu seemed to have focused on broader infrastructural projects. Specific education infrastructure less emphasized. So he hasn't focused more on educational projects as against a Peter Obi who focused a lot on education. And like Fina rightly said, at Anambra State was rated, top education. In healthcare, infrastructure, not as prominent in his administration in his 6 years. He might just do something in the 7th year, but 7th year is a campaign year. And then, excuse me, and then talking about transportation, we see that records have it that Peter Obi improved road within the state. Drawing comparison with, he has implemented major rail projects, BRT corridors and bus terminals, worked on, the projects of his predecessors, and he also did improve bus terminals in Lagos and enhanced urban transit. Talking about economic infrastructure, Peter Obi attracted industries like Sabmila and also supported local manufacturers. In Lagos, Sanwo-Olu developed large-scale projects like the Lekki Port and Imota Rice Mill. And this, how functional, that's up to you to decide. Go check and see how these things are functioning at the moment. And then talking about general urban planning, Peter Obi is credited to have conducted aerial mapping and developed urban structure plans. Sanwo-Olu, on the other hand, executed and bridge projects to improve city infrastructure. So these are, just a few of the statistics in front of you. So you decide who has done more. Well, also have in mind, one still has more time in office and might just do something.
Yes, more time in office. Moses and Fina, you have said quite a lot. So let me to get jittery whenever P2B said something. I'll rather concentrate on the issue of marketing or the marketing Nigeria. Now, Peter Obi has been accused of the marketing Nigeria anytime he travels abroad. But the question will be, what actually is the marketing? Has Peter Obi said anything that is incorrect? Has he told a lie? Has he churned out figures that are not verifiable? And he keeps saying, when I give out figures, I want you to go and verify. Nigeria, Vietnam, Egypt, Singapore, Malaysia, were they at any point in time at par, at the same level? That is one question. And the answer is, go back and find out the levels these countries are. Are they still at the same level? Clearly, no. So has Peter Obi told a lie? He hasn't. Has he said anything that is incorrect? He has not. Now, talking about poverty levels in Anambra State, I don't know whether Sanwo-Olu has the MBS metrics with which he used to determine that. Peter Obi did quite a lot in Anambra State. He was able to connect almost all the rural communities. If you drive to Anambra, and I don't know if Sanwo-Olu has, I don't know the last time he went to Anambra, and if he ever has, did he go beyond the government house where he probably was received and feted by the governor himself? He needs to drive through Anambra State and see the connections Peter Obi did, dot by dot, community to community, and all of that. So, what level of poverty? I mean, Peter Obi said, I promised to deliver on education. I did that. Peter Obi also won awards on MDG from the United Nations. So, has Sanwo-Olu won anyone? I am not aware. So you begin to ask again, how suddenly did Sanwo-Olu find his voice? Some people are saying he wants to worm his way back to the heart of his principal by just taking on Peter Obi. He's not the only person. Even Segun Sowunmi of PDP has said, look, stop the marketing in Nigeria. I will want these people that are asking Obi to stop the marketing in Nigeria. Tell us, how do you market Nigeria? By telling foreigners lies, so that when they come back here, they see something different. Is that marketing? What are the basic principles of marketing? These are the basic questions we should answer. It's a good thing that most are the comparisons. So you go back between the two people who has, and you also give the time when Obi office, how many years ago? Churned out. Nigerians the truth, and he's telling the world the truth about Nigeria. To do as this time, to tell ourselves the honest truth, except we want to continue to deny it. Not anywhere. Now let's move. Chinese nationals were handing out cards to Nigerian police officers. Another group has sparked outrage by spraying Naira notes at a mining site, as captured in a viral video on X, where Nigerians, angered by what they see as blatant disrespect for national currency, are calling on Minister of Solid Minerals, Dele Alake, to investigate whether the miners are legally authorized to operate, while urging the EFCC to arrest those involved for Naira abuse, with many insisting such behavior will never be tolerated in their own country. I think it is, when I said the other day, I spoke to Adewale Adebayo of SDP, and he said, look, Nigeria is a country that does not punish small crimes. That is why the big ones thrive. We saw Chinese line up Nigerian policemen and dished out crisp Naira notes to them in a very insulting manner. And what did we hear? We heard the IGP of police order the arrest and investigation of 2 or 3 police officers. Up until this moment, we don't know the fate of those people. What has happened? The Chinese nationals, were they arrested? Were they investigated? I am not sure. Now, another one has happened. Okay, the man apologized. Yeah, he apologized. So, and we accepted the apology. Now, like I said, Colin also said, it is easier for the first person apologized. These people, are they apologize again and will accept it? And the big question again, the bigger question is, in China, where they come from, can this happen? Can this happen? I'm not sure it can happen. Nigeria's national currency, and you are just doing it. Meanwhile, the results when CBN has a ban, you don't spray Naira. So what happens? Have they violated any law in this country? And what is going to be the repercussions for doing that? This is an infraction. This is a legal infraction. Will we see The other day we saw Nigerians somewhere in Lekki also trying to defend a Chinese that locked out people. And Nigerians were even the ones trying to fight for the man against their own people. The Naira. He even mutilated, he tore the Naira. Of Nigerians, of officers of this country. And crimes are not punished. That is why the big ones going on there. Chinese mining people are there.
What did the Nigerian, what did what did the Minister of Solid Minerals do? What was done? Nothing. At least nothing that we know. Quite unfortunate. And I did a bit of research at that time and found out that these things were spread on WeChat, and even in China, Nigerians were upset at, the whole action. And Chinese found insulting that they, try to Nigeria. If you look at that video closely, you would find some children right there. That's a major thing for concern, because if those are minors, then child labor here. So something done in that, should be, because if a people would on it in their bid to catch a few notes. They were in the night. It's an unfortunate one, and if nothing is done, it will repeat itself again. And Nigeria will continue to be a laughing stock in the Committee of Nations, because we are being disrespected in our own country by come to do business again. Quite unfortunate. I guess the lead.
Talking about integrating the nation. Now is of Nigerian also that trying to prevent China from the Chinese men from the people when they were spraying the money. I don't think them. Please, this is against the nations and this nation Nigeria. But the only thing I saw from would prevent from getting. This speaks more about Nigeria and such video. The nation to foreign direct investment. Some the moving forward. The other. Some people wake up to politicize what that is a
these individuals of Federal High Court, the FCT High Court, in Abuja, on Monday sentenced the husband of singer, his name, Nwachukwu, to death by hanging. Nwachukwu was found guilty of homicide resulting in the death of the deceased, which is Osinachi Nwachukwu, his wife, the singer, on April 8, 2022. Now, the judge held that the prosecution had proven the burden of proof placed on it by the law and subsequently found the defendant guilty Now, he was found guilty on all counts. If you is horrible domestic violence. Now, if you remember that you know, a lot of accusations came up as to how he treated the saint, prevented her from accessing her own funds, her own money, how he would beat her in front of the children, and you know, further. There was a time he pushed her out of a moving vehicle, and there was also a time I remember, you know, that he went to the studio where she was recording and slapped her right in front of the studio engineer and everybody. And when they wanted to, you know, confront him, Osinachi, the wife, you know, pleaded that they leave her husband alone. So she was, and then we're told that she told a lot of people, don't come between us. It's a family affair. And this man was said to be a revered individual in his church. Quite an unfortunate one. Now, more unfortunate in all of this is the fact that two of his own children testified against him. What more can we say? Two of his children testified against him. And in fact, it was revealed that he would beat his children, record their cries, and play it back on his phone. How sadistic is that? Well, when we're not passing judgment here, judgment has been passed already, and he will be sentenced. He's been sentenced to death by hanging. But the question is, you know, will he be hanged? We're still not decided as to whether or not to go, you know, the whole hog with death penalty. Nigeria is still, you know, and then our prisons are being overcrowded by death row inmates while we wait for one law or the other. And then the international community also saying, look, capital punishment should not be, you know, used. But then with individuals like this, well, we also know that some of it, much later, we see that, evidence comes out to prove these people innocent. But anyway, whatever the case may be, I think this is justice for the family of Osinachi, and her mother and sister, her twin sister, and the rest of them will be, you know, will have some reprieve at this point.
Okay.
Quite an unfortunate one.
Quite unfortunate. But I think...
And this documents now, see it when you sign best way. Don't say, oh, this person will change. It's my fault. And that's what they do. They make you feel guilty. It's your fault. You. And they say it's what you did. It's you. You know, you caused it. You made me do it. We should save ourselves before death comes knocking on the door.
It's quite unfortunate. But you talked about justice for the Osinachi family. And at this point, the best question I'll ask, what is the color of justice? What is the color of justice? The court has sentenced him to death. I also understand that in some crimes, in a situation like this, before you pass judgment, the court will also call the plaintiff and say, look, this is grievous. This is the punishment that the law has prescribed. What is your place? What do you want us to do in this matter? Do you want a lenient judgment, or do you want us to go the whole hog? Because I recall a certain woman in the United States, somebody killed her daughter, her only child for that matter. And when it was time for the judge, you know, to pass sentence, you know, the judge called the woman and said, look, we have provisions for compensation, we have provisions to sentence this person to death and all of that. And I asked the woman, what would you want? The woman said, how much can you possibly pay for my daughter's life? Even if you kill my daughter, if you kill this man, he's not going to bring my daughter back. At the end, the court said, what do you want? The woman said, I don't know. Why am this
Let me say,
children were orphans over just the time their mother died before.
No,
you know,
these
this
are
particular
opinions.
case.
These are opinions.
Because the man have not really played the role of the father in their life ever since he
I'm
was
putting
there.
out my own opinion. And I say these things happen in other climes. You ask people, this is the sentence, how do you want it? And I'm asking, possible that
I hear me of
his own lawyer
do we have that?
asked for leniency. His own lawyer.
His own lawyer asked for leniency. It is the lawyer that is speaking now. I'm talking about the children who are the plaintiffs, who are at the center of this matter. I'm not saying that the judge should adopt my position. I am saying, is it possible we incorporate this kind of thing into our laws?
After they have done the due diligence with the investigation and they have everything pointed out to direction to see that he's
allow brought me when my mother beats me. I said, I wish this woman dead. But did I really want her dead?
Looking at children, even be
my own view there.
For me being there, the judge or the court have actually
there's a Supreme Court. Can we put that into our jurisprudence?
Asking a question. Look into that. I think the judicature say about this is the fact that Osinachi died in 2022, but that does not stop people also being killed also when they claim or when they think that they are also in marriages. We've heard about a man that poured the wife fuel, lit her up, and she died too. We've heard about the one that used hammer to break the wife's head. We've heard about the woman that cut off the wife's hand, the husband's hands, and all that. So why stay there to say someone is good? I'm upset because of the fact that we lost someone to the cold hands of death, which would have been avoidable. But finally, it is what it is. But the judgment that the High Court, I'm not applauding it because those children.
You are applauding
I'm not applauding because those children are going to. But all the same,
you said the children were orphaned.
To say it this way again, that man, Mr. Nwachukwu, as the case may be, have never for once be seen to be a father in the life of those children. So sometimes even better for people to just stay without people who are abusive in nature.
All right, gentlemen,
around
let's move on to newspaper review now. We will continue this conversation much later. Looking at headlines from the papers, we have the Guardian newspaper. Institutional fees, 51 varsities, others embroiled in illegal deductions from student loan. Extra charges institution make on each NEL fund applicant. There's a breakdown of that right there. You can, have a look at it. Court orders Aisha Achimogu to honor EFCC's invitation. Customs receive 6 cargo scanners, target 67 in 20 years. And 2027, INEC seeks law to strip president of power to appoint Rex. El-Rufai, Lukman maintain opposition as APC receives Obaruwari Okowa. And the bottom strip, husband of late gospel singer Osinachi sentenced to death by hanging. Well, we do have some window headlines that I omitted. Alleged $1 billion fraud, suspected CBEX promoter surrenders to EFCC. Way to go. Ohaneze urges Tinubu to accept peace move by pro-Biafra agitators. And JAM, Peter Obi bicker over early exam schedules. Well, these are the headlines on the cover page of The Guardian.
And up next is the Daily Independent newspaper. The story above the masthead of Buverori Delta PDP moved to APC political tsunami. Tinubu. Defection is movement, says Governor. And we have the banner headline on the cover page of the Daily Independent newspaper today to be NHIS at risk amid rising cost of health care, poor regulation. Governor has only one vote. Elections are won by people, El-Rufai. Afenifere makes case for state police enforcement of anti-terrorism law. INEC, NAS, PLSC, others strategize on a referendum elections. Court sentences Osinachi's husband to by hanging. NACA threatens to sanction aerodromes without meat. We have another bold headline. Telecom subscribers groan over poor service despite tariff hike. And the bottom strip headline is Ababio pledges legislative backing for police reform. Those are the stories on the cover page of the Daily Independent News.
On to the Daily Trust with the window headlines. NEC, Data Caretaker Commission, PDP NWC meets today. Tinubu is said, that's coming from Baba Ahmed. Electricity-related incident in 2024. Now the big story, we can win without governors between Niger governor, deputy, and the bottom strip headlines. Benue court violence claims 20 lives in 6 months for villages. That's all from Daily Trust newspaper. And that's how far we can go on newspaper review this morning. Join Moses and I at 10 o'clock for expanded review of newspaper headlines. We'll go for a short break, and when we return, defections of high-profile politicians are overhyped and add no real electoral value, says El-Rufai. Again.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more.
Join me on Sundays every 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Voice of the People TV.
Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
Step into a world where stories unfold, secrets unravel, and dreams come alive. Every story has a legacy. Every legacy holds the power to inspire. A unique interview series that celebrates the lives of Nigeria's elder statesmen and women through their remarkable journeys in the military, diplomacy, public service, academia, medicine, and beyond. Conversation that transcends generations, offering guidance to youth leaders, diplomats, technocrats, and future change makers. We unveil the wisdom, resilience, and achievements that shapes our nation and the world. Join us every Sunday on Voice of the People television. Reminiscence, legacies that leads the way, stories that lives on.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VO. Good morning. It's the start of a beautiful day. Or start your day right with a healthy dose of fun and inspiration. Join us on VOP this morning for the latest news, trending topics, and uplifting stories to set your day on the right vibe. From news and current events to lifestyle and entertainment, you are covered. VOP this morning, 8 a.m., Monday through Friday. Every Saturday, 2 p.m. on Health Check. Health Check on VOP TV. Your health.
Everybody keep watching Voice of the People. All right? Love you all.
Welcome back. It's still VOP this morning. The former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai has dismissed the recent defections of high-profile politicians as exaggerated and politically meaningless. stressing that real power lies with the people, not political elites. Speaking in Kanu, El-Rufai argued that defections might grab headlines but have little impact at the ballot box, as governors and prominent figures alone cannot sway election results without genuine grassroots support. He also confirmed his move to the Social Democratic Party SDP, saying it offers a credible alternative free from the internal crisis and godfather politics that plague the APC and PDP. El-Rufai emphasized that the SDP must avoid the mistake of older parties by rejecting imposition and ensuring a level playing field for all aspirants. He reviewed ongoing efforts to strengthen the party from the grassroots, including a target of registering 3 million voters in Kanu State. El-Rufai, a founding member of the APC and once a key supporter of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, parted ways with the party after being dropped from the ministerial list over security concerns. Meanwhile, former Jigawa State Governor Sule Lamido has warned President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that using federal agencies to suppress the opposition could trigger the collapse of his administration. Speaking in Birnin Kudu after his election as the PDP national delegate, Lamido accused the ruling APC of weaponizing institutions against political rivals ahead of the 2027 polls and urged Nigerians to remain alert to growing authoritarian tactics. We have with us in the studio Prince Francis Chilaka. He's a public affairs analyst. And then we'll be joined by Sir Chuka Nnabuife, Managing Director, Anambra State Civic and Social Reformation Office. He'll be joining us from Oka. Good morning, Prince Francis.
Good morning, Fina.
Good to have you join today's conversation.
Welcome.
Good morning, Sir Chuka Nnabuife. Good to have you join today's conversation. All right, interestingly, let me start off with you, Sir Chuka Nnabuife. You know, we're having a mass exodus, if I'm to use that word, from People's Democratic Party to All Progressives Congress. In Delta State, we learned that the whole party, like the whole government of Delta State now have cross-carpeted from what it used to be, that's under PDP, now to APC. Some persons have come up to criticize that particular move. Some have applauded it. We have the likes of El-Rufai, from what we just told us now, you know, making it known to Nigerians that political elites don't own the ballot box, but Nigerians at the grassroots. What do you have to say about this, given the fact that there's another accusation from the former governor of, the former governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, accusing the president of using authoritarian tactics to rule the nation? He wasn't the first person that accused the governor or the president of that too. You know, what do you have to say about that?
Interesting. That's my summary bet. I will also have to tell the person who is anybody who is watching the development and getting some anxiety to tarry and know that it's in the season. More so, in a situation where we have given we've given elections the coloration of just mere exercise that could end up with the writings of somebody behind one desk. We have robbed, or we have tended to rob elections of what it is, that is the people's power, and thereby making mandates look like appointments. So, given that it is like that, defections are likely to be more. We are likely to have a gale of defections, because everybody will want to get to where the ultimate is. And if the ultimate is on the desk of one person, or in some offices, or in some establishments and what they say, not on the platform of the people on the street putting their thumb down to paper, you will notice that what it will get a result to will be that people will not think that elections matter, that their mandate matter. What matters is the endorsement of the office that matters. So defections will go like that. However, the observation of El-Rufai that what matters is the people, not the defections, is idealistic, is a little bit theoretical. Even he, El-Rufai, has elsewhere before now, in earlier efforts, on more than one occasion, adduced that when you have some people in your fold, you actually get the diadem, you get what you get the mandate. Now he's saying a different thing. Even what he's saying now is actually a truth. But what he was saying then wasn't falsehood, because in a situation where our people are made to believe that it is that office, is an office or an establishment that gives you the mandate. Yes, getting some key people into the thing will be the ultimate. I take note of Lamido, former Governor Lamido's, he wasn't a berate as presented. To me, it is a caution, a wise counsel, because there's a level you will get. And if it appears that people are afraid, or because people cavort towards their leader by virtue of fear, not by virtue of affection, it will actually scare the people.
Now, personally, Sir Nnamdi, do you think that this present administration is suppressing the opposition? Do you think that there's any suppress at all, from this present administration on the opposition?
Sincerely,
have you perceived it?
Sincerely, I've not seen that. But what I see is that if care is not taken, it will get to that.
Why I ask this question is the fact that we have another clergy in Nigeria, making it all out, telling us how we're moving directly into a mafian way of rule in Nigeria. And then this person, he received a backlash from the presidency, saying that nothing like that happened. And even the National Assembly also criticized the statement. So what do you think will happen after this one that Lamido also dropped?
Let me ask you. Sorry, it is not my point to ask questions. You are to ask me questions. But let me ask you. If you're working for the president, or if you're within his communication or information organ, are you likely to respond in affirmation, or to observe that it is a little bit out of order? I am being sincere to you, and my personal observation. And also remember, you introduced me as a head of a civic and social reformation office. We must say what should be for a society.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Sir Chuka.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's bring it to the studio now, where we have Prince Francis Chilaka. Now let's talk about the allegation of weaponizing institutions against politicians, thereby cowing them, to do your bidding. That's the allegation being put forward here. Do you find any truth in it, considering a few happenings in recent time, where some people have said that the president has, the courts, by a sensitive place, I would rather not say what came to mind, but has the courts by a sensitive place, and you think that will want to make politicians want to work with the president so they could have their way or in court?
I would start by saying that two institutions in Nigeria have been weaponized. One is the institutions that is supposed to give Nigerians justice, fairness, and equity. And the other one is poverty. So it's not just coming against the political class, but this government is also coming against the Nigerian people by ensuring that poverty reigns supreme. So on one hand, politicians, we know them. All they want is to be re-elected. All they want is to be relevant. And that is why you could see that most of those who are working directly with Mr. President have no integrity. They have no staying power. They have nothing to show that they are people with honor. That's why you see the likes of Wala with everything he said about this president. Today he's a spokesman.
You don't think he saw the
president.
light? You don't think he
What
he got
stupid light did he
closer?
see?
He got closer and saw things.
No. He was closer than, you see, you get closer to the politicians during the campaigns, not after. It is during the campaigns you know who they truly are. So everything Walla said before the elections, before the swearing in, is the true picture of what is there. But today, where is he? You see another one that has been parading himself on Oklasa, making all sorts of utterances, making noise all over the place. If tomorrow they put him inside one office where he will be making his own money, he will change. So you cannot trust the political class in Nigeria.
Okay.
The governors you see that are defecting, what are their political value? Let us ask ourselves this question.
Exactly the point that...
What are the political value? Because the people who voted them into power saw APC and voted them as PDP. And then suddenly you wake up. You see, this is where everybody believes that we have a rubber stamp National Assembly. Even though they do everything, they fight, trying to say, no, we're not. We need to look at the electoral laws. We need to look at that section of the Constitution that talks about defection. It's part of the institution that has been weakened.
Okay, Prince. Prince, let me stay with you. I want us to further interrogate what El-Rufai said about high-profile defections being meaningless. You know, that power resides with the people. Now, two questions. When El-Rufai says power resides with the people, what, do you believe him?
Sovereignty belongs to the people. Ideally,
exactly
yes.
The point. Now,
but we know that when politicians defect, in the real sense of it, we now have a country where people come out to vote. INEC is against the people. Judiciary is against the people. Police is against the people. Army is against the people.
More like state capture.
So you have an election where people come out to vote, and then at the end of the day, you have a 4 or 5 man panel that now takes a final decision of 200 million.
Now,
it's ridiculous.
Okay, Prince, I want to remind you, there was a certain British philosopher, Sir Ivor Jennings, and he said the people cannot decide until someone decides who the people are. I mean, because you talked about idealism, but I think the man is being realist here. He says the people cannot decide until someone decides who the people are.
No, I totally disagree with that.
Okay, you disagree with
what I think is more appropriate is that in every society, somebody must lead.
Okay.
That's what is more proper.
More like lending credence to what the man says.
But somebody must lead. But it does not mean that that person leading must decide.
Okay, now it depends on how you see it. Now, let's get to the bigger picture of when El-Rufai says high-profile defections are meaningless. Does it speak to the fact that a party could win a presidential election without having a structure? Look at what happened in 2023. Obi came a distant third. Was it allocation?
No, Obi didn't come a distant third.
No, I mean with the figure.
It was an allocation. If you listen to the interview of Onopasa, you will understand what played out. He has told you clearly, if Nigeria was a country that is working, that man should be arrested.
But he's not the first person to say that.
No. He should be arrested to tell us more. Okocha in Delta State, in Rivers, should also be arrested.
Wike too
should be arrested. But you have a country where, the institutions are not working. The institutions are not working. Because if the institutions are working, there are certain comments you make, and you should be called to come and explain further.
Prince, you believe Obi didn't come at distant third?
No. Take that to the dogs.
Okay, no.
Obi won the election. Let us say the truth.
Seriously?
Yes.
Can you defend that?
I monitored the election. So
we know
what played out in the elections. If Nigeria was working, Yakubu should be behind bars. He should be explaining to Nigerians what brought up the glitch. He should be explaining to Nigerians. It took IBB 30 years to open up on June 12th. And you see, the same people who said they were fighting for democracy, The same people who said they wanted the military to go back to the barracks, they all gathered and were clapping for him. Okay. It will take well, that by the time it takes another 30 years, and God willing, Yakub is alive to write his own book, and he tells you that the glitch was not the glitch, Nigerians will still come.
Okay, Prince, if you had a crystal ball, let's look into 2027. Now, the obedient movement have said, that they are launching a portal, for people to register as full bona fide members of the obedient movement. Whether you're at home, whether you're in diaspora, and all of that. And people
you might want to hold on responding to that one, because that's the next conversation that we'll be having.
No, I'm not asking question about what Tanko Yunusa said. I'm talking about launching a portal. And it says, look, feel free to register into this portal. Do you think that they are trying to conduct a shadow election?
No, let me say this. What Obi is doing now with the obedient is what he should have done immediately after the elections. To be very honest with you. But we say it's better late than never. So I applaud him for doing that.
Okay.
The obedient, don't forget, we are 3 people, chatting in a room. And suddenly, the 3 people fought parties that have been in existence. As at the time they went to election in 2023, Labour Party had no structure. Because they had no governor. They had nobody. If Peter Obi moves from Labour Party today, Labour Party will collapse. The life you see in Labour Party, with all this brouhaha going on, is Peter Obi. Peter Obi is a walking tsunami.
So you practically agree with El-Rufai that high-profile defections don't.
I mean, for me, who are the high profiles? You don't know that Okuwa has been one person that EFCC has been chasing all over the place. Have you forgotten?
Prince, are you saying that is why he went to APC?
But you heard what Senator Oshomole said. Once you come to APC, your sins are forgiven.
No, that was back in the day.
No, it is still there.
You sure it's still happening?
It is still there. So everybody that is decamping now is not decamping.
Does that mean that what Lamido said about weaponizing some institution in Nigeria against opposition is working out?
It's the truth. What you see happening right now is not about people with conscience. It's about survival. That's what is playing out. So it's not even about the people. So how the people of Delta State are shortchanged by the government.
This administration with the fight against corruption that we know that the present administration come up. That's a mantra.
Let me tell you something that has been bothering me, and I think we need to stop packaging people for election in this country. They packaged Buhari and gave to us, and it was a colossal failure. They packaged our president and gave to our current president was packaged. Don't forget, they told us he built Lagos. That is one. They told us he fought for democracy. A man who fights for democracy would not accept what is going on in Nigeria today. He would tell this. He would say, look, this idea of people defecting is not democratic. You can't win an election in APC and then you carry the same power, the same institution to PDP. At the end of the day, it is the people that are being shortchanged. So the politicians is all about how they want to get back to power, how they want to hold onto power. Like I keep saying, remove Wike today as FCT minister. Give him 6 months. He will go into oblivion.
All right, then let's come back to Sir Chuka. I'm going to stay on the issue of defections now, the gale of defections that are rocking political parties in Nigeria. Some have said that more will defect from the PDP to the APC. In fact, there are also speculations that an Alex Oti might just defect to the APC in the coming days. If that happens, what becomes of the Labour Party? And with all these defections, happening right now, what do you see in the coming days? Are you also going to say, or do you align yourself with the thoughts that corrupt politicians are the ones that run to the APC for protection? Is that something you would want to align with or disagree with?
The APC has already given itself out as the government. Let me explain. The ruling party has already established itself as the funnel, the line for getting through to government. But that is actually in character with our politics in Nigeria. You don't blame the APC. You blame how we have structured the systems to be. So people are moving on there because students will always find a way to pass their exams. The girl of defections, you saw it, it happened to PDP at a time. It happened with people moving over to PDP at a time. And if you go to states, it also happens there. What I am looking beyond the defection. Do you know that you can have all the people that matter? And where elections actually happen, you may win or you may not win according to the margin of the people who support you. So LPC should not rest on its oars. I am one of those who also foresee that there are a lot of people going to move. I don't like using the word defection. Some people will go with genuine reasons.
No, sir. Are you seeing Nigeria moving into a one-party system if you're projecting that some persons will also move?
It is not possible. People can give the impression. It's just like when Obulafor said that they are going to have, they are going to rule for 60 years and they are going to be in control of things. Some people are having that fantasy. You know, some other parties, including APC now. It's not going to happen. Anybody who knows about the plurality of a society would know that at a time something will happen to also to shift the pendulum. It may even be an election that you are so sure that you have won, but something comes up. Do you know that even one sentence can change the whole thing? One statement, one word can change the whole equation. So people who are moving now are showing the level of their distance, and they can establish it. Somebody can tell you that since it has become so clear that I can't deliver my mandate if I don't move there, let me go there so that you, my people, will get the mandate, and it will look plausible. But what is not going to help make Nigeria have a one-party system is that there are even faith divides us more than politics. Faith and even sports divides us more than ethnicity. So no matter how we bunch up or funnel into one party, we are going to have different tendencies. Nigeria is such a plural society that you can't imagine it. And if you imagine it, we will go bust. Implosion, not explosion. So anybody who is having that fantasy should better expunge it, because it's not likely going to help the society.
Thank you.
And it won't happen.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sir Chuka and Nnamdi, for your contribution. Now, Prince, let's get your own concluding thought to this, topic, because you learned that we'll have to let you go because you're running for other things and other engagements. You made mention of what happened in 2023 election. Some persons have come up to say that 2027 election is a win-win already for APC. We have the chairman of the party, Umar Ganduje, saying that every plan for coalition, every plan for merger should be forgotten because that they have what it takes. They have the plans to make sure that 2027 election will be in favor of APC.
Well, if Alhaji Gandola, the Ganduje, is saying all of that, then it is obvious that we are not a country that is democratic. We're not a country that believes in elections. We're not a country that has respect for the rule of law. We're not a country where the sovereignty of the people matters. And I keep asking myself, and this is a question a lot of Nigerians are also asking, what is APC going to use to campaign in 2027? Is it good governance, which we have not seen? Is it hunger? Is it poverty? Is it the fact that subsidy is gone?
So you think 2027?
So what is APC coming out to tell Nigerians in 2027? I need to know, because trying to wrap my hands around it. What are they going to tell Nigerians? Are they going to tell Nigerians that, oh, vote for us, then fuel price will come down? Or are they going to tell Nigerians that, oh, the villa, the Aso Rock cannot pay NEPA bill because they're on band A. And Nigerians are paying for band A. Is that what they're going to campaign with?
Some persons also tell Prince Francis that if APC is not doing well, we'll not have mass defection into the party.
The defection you have coming into APC, sorry, are people,
30 seconds.
Who are seeking for political relevance. They're not people who believe in the power of the people.
I think that's the best way for us to anchor this first topic on VOP this morning. Thank you so much, Prince Francis Chilaka, Public Affairs Analyst, for being part of today's show. And also asking Sir Chuka Nabife to still, please, be with us as we move over to the second topic of conversation. And the topic of conversation is that Peter Obi movement, as obedience, have come up to say that they will follow Peter Obi anywhere. And this is coming from their national coordinator, Dr. Yunusa Tanko. Stay with us.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more.
Join me on Sundays every 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Voice of the People TV.
Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
Step into a world where stories unfold, secrets unravel, and dreams come alive. Every story has a legacy. Every legacy holds the power to inspire. A unique interview series that celebrates the lives of Nigeria's elder statesmen and women through their remarkable journeys in the military, diplomacy, public service, academia, medicine, and beyond. Conversation that transcends generations, offering guidance to youth leaders, diplomats, technocrats, and future change makers. We unveil the wisdom, resilience, and achievements that shapes our nation and the world. Join us every Sunday on Voice of the People television. Reminiscence, legacies that leads the way, stories that lives on.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight.
And thanks for staying with us. And if you are just joining us, this is VOP This Morning on Voice of the People television. We're also on SLTV channel 264. Now, the Obedient Movement says it is ready to follow former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi to any political platform he chooses ahead of the 2027 elections. National Coordinator Dr. Yunusa Tanko told reporters that Nigerians desperately need a new direction and that the movement remains firmly behind Obi, who secured over 6 million votes in 2023 with their support. The group's show of loyalty comes as internal divisions rock the Labour Party and talks intensify over a possible coalition to challenge President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the next polls. Meanwhile, former Labour Party presidential campaign spokesperson Kenneth Okonkwo has accused the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) of manipulating the 2023 election results against Peter Obi. Okonkwo alleged that INEC never uploaded polling unit results as required by law and claimed that Obi's votes were reduced in places like Lagos, while results in Rivers were rewritten in favor of the ruling APC. Although the Supreme Court upheld Tinubu's victory, Okonkwo insists the ruling was based on a lack of evidence, not on the credibility of the election results. Oh well, we are still we still have Sachuka and Nabufe who joined us from our outstation. But we have Barrister Darlington Agomo. Barrister Darlington is a public affairs commentator as well as VOP in-house analyst, and he is here with us in our Lagos studio. Good morning to you, Barrister Darlington, and thanks for coming to VOP this morning.
Thank you, Mr. Okoro, and the rest of the crew. How are you today?
Very well then. Okay, Barrister, let me start with you. Andy Okonkwo made a categorical statement that, look, Peter Obi won the 2023 general elections. And he's not the first person that has said that. It's on record. You know, it also went viral when Nyesom Wike, the minister of the FCT, said that, look, we know what we did. Obi actually won the elections. In Rivers State, the records are there that Obi won. And in Lagos State, it is very clear, it was not manipulated, that Obi won the 2023 presidential election in Lagos State. Barrister, what's your reaction? Do you agree with all these people?
If you ask me, whatever is being said today about the election is a fact, because we all saw it. We're only doing a reminder against 2027. As for what went down in 2023, everybody is aware. Even Tinubu himself knew. He knew what he did. He's not in doubt. I'm sure his conscience will be talking to him every day of his life on what he did on that election. I mean, was it not here that evidences were brought against him? And instead of the Supreme Court to look at it, they say, oh no, he came late. He came late.
But you said his conscience will be talking to him. I mean, politicians, do they have conscience?
No, look.
Nigerian politicians in particular.
Mr. Okoro, don't deceive yourself. There is a proverb in Southwest, in Yoruba land here, that it says that an evil man who knows himself is just waiting for somebody to remind him. And you now say that you are insulting him. Who told you that they don't have? They have. It's just that at the closets of their rooms, their conscience will be talking to them.
Why I ask this question is that sometimes they don't act like they have conscience. So when you speak about politicians not having, that their conscience will prick them, I begin to ask again.
It's because they want to show that they are strong. You know, in Nigeria, if you don't do things the way they do, they will know you're a very weak man. That's just the sad aspect of this thing.
Barrister, why do you think Kenneth Okonkwo is coming up at this point in time to start making all this pronouncements? Recall, he left the party in February this year, saying that the party is not ready for the 2027 election. And I think 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, he made a return. What is really happening? Why is he
made a return to which party?
No, he's coming up now to tell Nigerians that P2P won the election and all that. He said he does not belong to any political party. He does not belong to any platform, but he's a good Nigerian that wants to talk for the benefit of Nigeria. Now, is it that he's confused? Because I don't understand the fact that one breath he's coming up to tell Nigerians this, and on different breath he's saying
he has never, since he left APC, I don't think he has gone back to any Labour Party. He has not gone to any political party. And so coming out now to talk the way he's talking, he don't want to tell you that, look, I'm not going back to APC. Because people were speculating that they haven't left Labour Party. And with the trending news now, everybody, you know,
is going to APC.
Jackpying to APC.
Okay, so Barrister,
So
before we bring in Sachuka Nabife, I'll ask you this question. Is this a blanket approval, you know, for Obi to leave the Labour Party? Because the Obedient Movement says we are willing to follow Peter Obi to any party. Does it look like it's more like, is it an afterthought? Have they already concluded that Obi is going to leave Labour Party? What do you think?
I would have loved a situation whereby Obi will remain in Labour Party and make something out of that party. Because they may not have structure, but they have people. There is no Nigerian who is not a Labour person. You are working in one place or the other. If you can make use of those people working in different places under the Labour Union, it will help him. But since they are making it difficult for him, why not? I mean, if you don't accept me, I will look for those people that will accept me.
All right then. Thank you very much, Barrister Darlington. Let's bring Sachuka Nabife into this conversation. Good morning once again. Now, talking about the establishment of an internet portal where Nigerians, both within and outside Nigeria, can register and identify with Labour Party, with Obedient Movement, I beg your pardon. What do you make of that arrangement? Is that coming on time? Is that late in coming? Some have said that should have happened right after the elections. What do you make of that announcement? And also, the statement made by Yunusa Tanko that the Obedient Movement will move with Peter Obi wherever he chooses to go.
Thank you, Moses. The creation of an internet portal, be it for people to come in and vote, that is where people can use for voting, or for whatever demographic or data.
Sorry to interrupt you. It's not just to vote now, because they also said with the barcode, information of people will be there. If you want to do business with anybody that is part of the Obedient Movement, you can just scan and you have the details of the person, so you know whom to trust and whom not to trust. So does that make it seem like it's just about elections? To me, it feels like it's more than just elections.
We need it long before now, and we already have mechanism for that. But the main issue in this your double question is what Dr. Tanko said about the Obedient Movement moving with Peter Obi wherever he goes. If you need a little bit of understanding the tendencies, political tendencies currently. There's an overwhelming push for aggregation of interest groups from several parties, or all the organs of several parties, to move PDP, SDP, Labour Party, among others, to come to form to merge and form a mega party. Their words, mega. And if you do check what is happening, you will find out that Atiku is already having, who is supposed to bring in the PDP part of that body in the negotiation and into the aggregation, is already having some challenges within his internal fold in PDP. So even if he's going to move, it will be like Rochas Okorocha did with a faction of APGA when they moved into APC. Two, SDP has not really been swallowed into the aggregation. Peter Obi's group, which is not a Labour Party, but a group that is working in affinity with Labour Party. Peter Obi, I don't know whether I will use the words, was smart or was lucky to have a pressure group, the Obedient group, come under him like a movement. What they are saying by that, what Tanko is implying, and what they are saying by that statement that Tanko made, is that Peter Obi has a machinery, an organ of already known followers. So wherever he goes, that is the value he's going to add. That is one point. The second point that statement communicates is, if you do have a problem with Labour Party in the negotiation or whatever, assuming Peter Obi now agrees to move into the merger or not, if you do have a problem, because you and I know that the Labour Party is riddled with a lot of internal wrangling. If you do have a problem, Tanko do say, you still have Peter Obi bringing in value with his group. That is the second part of it. And overwhelming the acting intent of that statement is to say Peter Obi is a leader of a group, you see, and that is where it goes to those data we're talking about. A leader of a group, and you can check and understand.
Is this some sort of mock elections taking place to determine those that are for Peter Obi? Can it be considered as such?
If you use the word mock elections, somebody may not understand it, but let me break it down for you. The answer to your question is, It is. But let me break down what mock elections mean. If you go to study parties, particularly in Europe, and my main case that I use is Canada or UK, particularly in UK. If you study parties, at every time, every issue, be it in the parliament or on the street, is a test of popularity. It's a test of the acceptance or non-acceptance of a government. That's why you see somebody like Kemi Badenoch of Conservative Party being on the news every time. You understand? When you do politics, what our people should do is, if you are in politics and professionally in politics, totally in politics, you don't joke with data. You don't joke with issues. Where you stand on issue, you must be categorical. And you don't joke in calculating who is for and who is against. You will use it in an argument. You will use it to go for votes. The only challenge in it is that in this situation, when we are trying to increasingly make it look like people's vote don't matter. When you finish with all those things, somebody will sit at one desk or in one office and begin to allot positions.
Before, when you say we make it look like people's votes don't count, are we the ones making it look that way, or is it what we're seeing being glaring? Because, if we check the words of the former Labour Party presidential campaign spokesperson, it says that the Independent National Electoral Commission manipulates the 2023 election result against some persons. And we could also recall that during the election, that of the House of Assembly and all that, they were able to transmit that result electronically, according to what INEC promised Nigerians before that election. We put in billions into that. And then what happened? Why do we have the malfunction during the presidency?
My sister, do you know a young man called Julius Malema in South Africa? Do you know a young man called Bobby Wine in Uganda?
Yeah, Uganda.
You know them? And they were all working under very serious dictatorial regimes, working against or for very established parties as huge as ANC and Co. How many Nigerians have you seen go to challenge the result of that the election that they claim is flawed? How many? With all do you know how many people we elevate to Senior Advocate of Nigeria every year? Do you know how many people we recognize as comrade dad? Do you know how many people we recognize as fantastic journalists?
But we have the likes of Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi also, try to contest that particular result. We're talking about individuals in Nigeria that have contested the result of that election. And we could also recall that some of the things are presented as evidence or affidavit to that court that were being, trashed or something like that.
My dear sister, you can't, if a footballer does not play the referee, there's a referee, there's a footballer, there's a spectator, and there's even the stadium. There are fans who may not, some fans are not even among the spectators of that game. How many Nigerians, if we don't accept what INEC did and we claim is INEC, it can never be INEC. INEC is an institution. Even if it is, somebody must get INEC to feel the tone in issue.
Personally, are you saying that the result of the 2023 election is what Nigerians have voted for? And, are you saying that that result is based on a free and fair conduct of election?
Initially, I felt that result was not what Nigerians want. But as things stand, 2 years after that, I have not seen any proof that it is not. Because I have not seen Nigerians who will go to kick against it, even in the court or in the platform of social discourse, even in the media.
Okay, Sachuka, you also recognize that, like Fina said, Atiku went to court, Obi went to court, and the case terminated at the Supreme Court. So what else would you want Nigerians to have done?
There are several ways. My brother. There are a million ways to go about a case. I can actually institute a case against INEC for for taking my time. I can actually institute a case for my figures not being used. It is not about election.
Okay.
I can actually institute many cases of promises that have not been kept. It is not election.
Okay.
There are 1,000,001 cases.
All right.
That is why in the agency ahead, we insist on civic responsibility.
Okay,
My
civic
brother,
responsibility.
as a journalist, Chukuma, you have a responsibility.
Okay. All right, thank you very much, Sachuk. We'll come back to you for your concluding thoughts. Meanwhile, let's come back to the studio where we have Barrister here. Barrister Chuka said someone can go to court to challenge that election, not on the basis of result, but probably say you wasted my time, you didn't use this or that. Yeah. Is it right? It's correct, right?
Yeah. It's
a
fact, yeah.
Okay, but we haven't seen any Nigerian do that.
No, it's not as if we haven't seen. Just that you have a legal system that that is always pro-government.
Okay.
That is just the irony, the sad irony of it.
Okay, now to the main question. Obedient Movement launched a platform. They said it's open, anybody can register with barcodes and all of that. Now, we haven't heard, if there is, I have not heard, I have not seen where the presidency or APC reacted to it. Does it look like APC is going to do something similar, more like a popularity contest? And if they do that, what do you think is going to play out?
You see, Bizokoro, this is a novel idea.
Okay.
And you know, Obi, being the kind of person he is, I'm not surprised that he came up with such a thing. Now, the advantage is that it will help him to know his members.
Okay.
You know, not all this one that people will go and concoct all manner of things and say opinion is saying that APC is 250 million, even though the population of Nigeria is 260.
Barrister, what happens?
So what I'm saying is
okay, to know his members, what happens if they are infiltrators? People that go there to register to cause problem within the Obedient Movement.
What the
You
problem?
don't see that happening?
I don't think so. Because they will not allow it.
How would they know?
Because if you are beginning to do anti-party activities, the laws are there to checkmate you. What do I call it? A profile. They have a game plan. They have an intention.
Okay.
So if you do not fall into that intention of the movement, why would you be there?
Okay, so Barrister, we are running out of time, so we need to run. So do you think that APC will do something similar, you know, more like a popularity contest? Let us actually know who is who in this country.
No, they will
in
not.
terms of party membership and all of that.
They will not. They will not, because overconfidence will not allow them to do that.
Oh, they are even confident?
They are very, very overconfident. That's why you see them talking. Whenever you have any disagreement with them, they say, go to court. So they are banking on the court and INEC. They know that if they do such a thing, the result will embarrass them. So they will not try it.
All right,
That's
then.
the truth.
All right, then. Sachuka, now, still talking about the membership of the Obedience Movement, I'm concerned. Now, we know that this membership will cut across both Nigerians within Nigeria and those in diaspora. Will the numbers have any impact on possible elections, seeing that, I mean, a lot of diaspora Nigerians will be there, and we know that currently, as it stands, Nigerians in diaspora may not have the opportunity to vote except they come back home to do so. So will that data have any impact?
There is a saying in some quarters that figures don't lie.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? You know one thing with the judicial system, the court does not give you what you don't ask for. And let me use the word, I think it will communicate it better. It's evidential. If that party will have, or that movement, it's not even a party, obedience, will have a clear figure of their members, both in diaspora and nationally. What it will serve as, anytime they go to a court or they adduce or advance any stance on any matter, they can refer exactly to that number. And you and I, just as media people, when we want to talk to them, we can say, let me use loosely,
Okay.
not meaning, I would say the 100 million strong obedience. It figures, you have a reference. But if you don't have it, it will be conjecture, it will be pure fantasy. And fantasy don't fly in court. Fantasy don't fly in any place that you are going to present reason. I like what they are doing, and if it will provoke other parties to go also for such things, we'll be getting there. Does it not rankle you, brother, that you and I have, within the last 8 years or 10, within the last 10 years, gone for so many registration, NIMC, National Identity Card, bank, BVN, we have at least a plethora. Okay, let me just say 8 of them. You have it in your pouch, including your international passport, which has been changed, renewed in several forms 3 times within the period I am referring to. And there is still no one concrete way of referring to a Nigerian, even your driving license. My brother, isn't that a mockery? It's a mockery of a system.
That brings me to another question, even as we wrap up this conversation. We'll take concluding thoughts much later, the end of the entire conversation. But not too long ago, some days back, INEC mooted the idea of conducting elections without PVCs. You know, for those whose PVCs were missing and could just print out the slip and go for elections. Do you foresee that curbing infractions, or will that benefit Nigerians? Because some Nigerians have lost their PVCs, the cards, maybe due to thefts or loss of data, or things like that.
I'm as impressed as I guess you are when that was announced. But I was a little bit in askance. How are they going to do it if as little as beavers, they couldn't even they couldn't use it? So how are they going to control this? More time they will tell us about glitches in their world, or glitches in the system. But if we can pull it through, my brother, if we can pull it through, we are going to be the beneficiaries. I am actually, my brother, I am actually worried what I'm going to pass, what my generation is going to pass on to our children, and what they will inherit to pass on to and to their own children. We are gradually ebbing this country in leaps and bounds. Well, what he said is right. But if you are a person who have been following that institution, that establishment, you will actually say, well, tell it to the dogs. You understand? And, well, I am praying that they pull it through and let it, if it works, it's good.
All right, then.
But
Thank you very much.
I am not being very hopeful.
All right. Thank you very much. We will stay hopeful. I would have loved to go on, talk about the weaponization of poverty and the fact that a lot of Nigerians are hungry and they might need some sort of support. And when elections come, Peter B, will he throw out the mantra of, we know they give shishi, how that will work in his favor this time around? I would have loved to put that out, but I guess we could just take a minute each and react to that before we get into the next conversation. You go first, Sachuka.
Even what we have been discussing today is about weaponization of poverty. Let me explain to you. I told you everybody can defect the camp, or whatever we call it. Everybody can go anywhere because of freedom of movement. And it is also more incumbent on people who run institutions and states and local governments, people who head some key organizations, because you can tell your people, what I told you during, I can only deliver it, what I told you during while I was coming into power, I can only deliver it if I am near people who do hand it out.
All right, then.
So, and that is a very, very plausible argument.
All right, then.
So what will make you want to turn the system like that and subsume your values? What will make you do that is because there are people who are looking up to you for handouts.
All right, then. All right, then. Thank you very much. That's a good place to anchor it. Barrister, in 1 minute, please.
Yes, weaponization of poverty has become a new agenda in our political history. Elsewhere,
no, we are tying it to, I know they give shishi.
It's part of it now, because if you know they give shishi, it means that there are people who are expecting you to give them shishi. So if you are now a good leader, that should not even bother you. Okay. Tell them, it is better I tell you how to go and look for shishi, how to find your own shishi, than for you to expect me to give you. That means I want to keep you where you are. That's the meaning. But right, if I'm coming to tell you, no, I will not give you, but I will show you how to make shishi, so that anytime you need shishi, you go there and get it.
All right.
It's better that way than all this, because it has not helped us. Indeed. That is why we are where we are today.
Indeed.
That is why we are where we are. So we can't continue.
Thank you very much, Barrister Darlington Agumo and Sachuka Nabife. Now let's get into another conversation. 19 lawyers, including 6 SANs, join Nnamdi Kanu's legal team as trial resumes today. Let's talk about this one when we come back. Join us again.
Four senior advocates of Nigeria have joined the legal team defending Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, as his trial resumed today, Tuesday, April 29, 2025. The new additions are Professor Onyekachi Ibazu, Emeka Etiaba, Mela Audu Mbuhe, and Dr. Joseph Akubo bring the number of senior advocates on Kanu's team to 6 and raise the total number of his lawyers to 19. Kanu, who has been detained since 2021, is facing a rearranged 7-count terrorism charge before Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja, where he maintains his plea of not guilty. Meanwhile, the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB has condemned the scheduled court proceeding, describing the trial as illegal and a direct violation of both the Nigerian Constitution and international law. In a statement, IPOB called the ongoing case a sham that disregards principles of national justice and urged Nigerians, human rights organizations, and the international community to demand Kanu's immediate release. The group warned that continuing the trial undermines the rule of law and further discredits Nigeria's legal system. We still have with us in the studio, we still have Barrister Darlington Agumo, VOP TV in-house political analyst, and Sachuka Nabife, Managing Director, Anambra State Civic and Social Reformation Office, there in our Oka studios. Barrister Darlington Agumo, I would like to start off with you. Nnamdi Kanu's case is, the trial also will begin today, but it's more like IPOB is not happy over the fact that this rearrangement is also happening. The count charges bordering on terrorism that was being leveled against him and all that. IPOB is calling this a sham. Is it really a sham? I mean, the rearrangement of Nnamdi Kanu in court, isn't that more like giving him a freedom that he also requires a Nigerian for him to be tried in the court? And if he's innocent or if he's not guilty, the court will be there to decide.
Thank you, Fina. The court have already decided that Nnamdi Kanu should be allowed to go home. Whatever the federal government is doing here is illegal.
But he was not acquitted. He was discharged, but not acquitted, Barrister Darlington.
Please, we are equally aware that the court denounced the rendition of Kanu from Kenya, and that the court equally said that the federal government did wrong.
Still, a court in Nigeria, Barrister Darlington, prescribed IPOB in Nigeria, tagged it a terrorist organization, and Nnamdi Kanu happens to be the leader of IPOB.
It's a self-determination group. That's the truth. You see, you cannot call a group a terrorist just because you don't like what they are doing. A terrorist within and outside Nigeria is known as a terrorist. That's the truth. Tell me any other country in the whole world that sees IPOB as a terrorist group, or Nnamdi Kanu as a terrorist. No other person. It's just Buhari. Meanwhile, you know very well those who have done more terrible things than what they are accusing Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB of. You know. So what is happening to those people? Tell me.
Okay, Barrister, let me, straight off, do you think that 4 new senior advocates of Nigeria going into the legal team of Nnamdi Kanu, is it going to make any difference?
Yeah, let them add more bite to the case. I mean, all of them are coming with rich legal encyclopedia, you know, because somebody needs to be educated on this thing. I don't know what the federal government, I don't know whether they want to suffer more embarrassment.
Okay, but Barrister, as you hold on to your thought, there's a video of Nnamdi Kanu right in court now. He's appearing in court and he's giving out hugs and pecks to people in the court. And okay, yes, he's actually in court now as we speak. So, like, continue, Barrister. You think it will make a difference? Are you not saying that the people that have been handling Eloy Jimako and others, that they've not done a good job?
No, nobody said. They said they are adding to the legal team.
Exactly my question. Do you think that it will make a difference?
It will. Remember, Eloy Jimako and the other parties were there when Michael Ezokome went to court, appeal court, and quashed all the 15 count charges. Is that not true?
Okay.
Good. On that basis, if this government is sincere, that was the time to let Nnamdi.
It is based on that sincerity that I'm asking this question. Do you think that heavyweights getting into the case is going to make a difference?
I said yes.
Okay.
All right, they didn't come with empty hand. They came with the rich legal knowledge on the matter at stake. Because you are talking of terrorism. Maybe they will come and define terrorism to this federal government.
All right,
and they will define it for them since they don't know what it is.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Barrister Darlington. Sachuka, now, same question really. 19 lawyers now defending Nnamdi Kanu. Will this make any impact? 19 of them. Will it make an impact? And I would like to add to that the fact that IPOB is also saying, look, this trial should not even hold because it's illegal. The man should be let off the hook. He should be allowed to go back home. Is that something that you see possible? Are they, do they have their heads stuck in the cloud? Is there a possibility of Nnamdi Kanu going without a trial? Does it even seem like IPOB, the body IPOB, wants Nnamdi Kanu out of detention?
Yes, let me just give you one reference and it will buttress my point. You and I can remember as recent as not about a decade ago, Pervez Musharraf was the Prime Minister of Pakistan, I guess. Yeah. And he had a problem with some lawyers. And it lingered before it could get to a conclusion. It appeared the state was muscling the case. And the entire lawyers in the capital of the country came to participate in the hearing and the procession street protest that went after. I pray this does not go too far. The meat of this was in the FINA was announcing about 2 or 3 of those people who are joining in appearing for Kanu.
Yes.
I wish she could reel all of them out. The profile of those people, because I guess some people may not know, But those who have been who know the legal system in Nigeria, the profile of those people will tell you what the tendency of the case. You knew initially somebody was talking about this in my call in the studio about the lawyer. Initially, it was Nnamdi Kanu's case and the lawyers he can muster, those who are his personal lawyers. It moved into a POB thing. Now it is moving into a higher consciousness and a higher body of people. You could call it a group of.
All right. So for the sake of emphasis, let's just put out the names again. Professor Onyechi Ikpeazu, Emeka Etiaba, Mela Aldu Nunge, and Dr. Joseph Akubo. Am I correct?
Yeah, these are the SANs.
Okay, yes. Those are the senior advocates there. Just a few of them.
These 4 names, at least 3 of them had been in almost all the cases of either appeal court or Supreme Court level of either governorship or federal or presidency. What do you call it?
That is political trial.
Tribunals. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Most of them are known winners of cases. They are major leaders of interests. And now, how did the government allow this personal case of one person that could muster the lawyers or the legal team he could, and allow it to look like it is now a section of the population versus the state? That is how a mismanaged political situation.
So, sorry, Sachuka. Let me ask you, do you think that this case is transiting from a legal matter to a political matter? Because you rightly said
that's
that.
Exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, that's exactly what they are saying.
Yes.
And clearly not because Allah Ejimako and others have not followed the case diligently.
They have been. I'll give them. I'm not a lawyer anyway.
Okay.
But I'll give them from perception of somebody who has been following the system. I'll give them a more than average mark in what they have done. Okay. But get these people. These are big wigs, my brother. If you do know the profile of the people you just called.
Okay. Sorry, Sachuka. You think that these lawyers are able to do what the political machinery of the Southeast has not been able to do?
I'm seeing this as a class action. You know, while you have class action involving the parties in the case, you can also have class action of people who are standing for people in the case. I'm seeing this as a class action. And what a class action indicates is that there is a defined interest behind a defined group behind the matter. And I don't think we should allow it to descend to this level.
All right, then, thank you very much. Well, we'll be putting up the names of the legal team very, very shortly, so our viewers can just peruse, have an idea of the entire 19 legal team of Nnamdi Kanu as he's seen in court today, still moving around and greeting people. But anyway, let's get our concluding thoughts in on the conversations so far. Barrister Darlington, let me start off with you now. What would what are your concluding thoughts, if you do recall the conversations we've had from beginning?
Yes, the thing is that the lawyer that came to defend Nnamdi Kanu, I think they saw it as injustice. That is what must have motivated them to show up. Because I know the 6 SAN, I don't think Nnamdi Kanu have the resources to bring them to court. They must have done this out of pro bonos, privilege and all that. And then they see it as part of, deepening our jurisprudence. Because this case is going to be locus classicus, if you ask me, because we have not seen it before. We have not. This is the first time this type of thing is happening, that you render a citizen from another country to this place, and then you are trying him and all that. So it's going to open up new frontiers in our legal system. I think that's why those SAN are there. It will deepen our jurisprudence. Then for anybody to say that Nnamdi Kanu have not, they have tried. I told you what Ezekome did in appeal court. 15 count charges. He quashed it. He quashed all of them. Is that not a victory? The man even knelt down before the court that day and praised and thanked God for that victory. But at the end of the day, what happened? So it's like the federal government want to embarrass themselves with this case. That's how I put it. Because reasonable minds have told them, even the woman, Binta Nyako, have told the government, look, go and seek a political solution. They still kept adamant. You understand? The woman told the woman even praised Nnamdi Kanu for having knowledge of the law. To even quote that the federal government is violating their own law. So on that basis, which other law are they going to use to try the man? So there are a lot that will come out of this case. And I believe and I pray that the government should think twice. Because it will help, it will help to embarrass this government the more outside here. Because the whole world is watching this case. The whole world is watching this case, seriously. So if you are trying to make your image cleaner before the international community, would you go this far?
All right, then. Thank you very much.
I don't give you references of those who did worse than Nnamdi Kanu.
All right.
You are not trying them.
All right, thank you very much, Barrister Darlington. Sachuka, let's have your concluding thoughts now.
My brother, thank you very much. My concluding thought is simple. What all I will discuss today points towards a public perception. Sorry, don't miss it. Public perception, mismanaging public perception. If you make an election appear not to matter, people will feel the office that gives the result matters. And in reality, in a politics, it shouldn't. Two, if you look very well at how the public perceives a situation, you would actually know where the pendulum of justice should go. That is as regards the case of Nnamdi Kanu. It is being mismanaged. Right. And I wouldn't want it. What did Barrister Darlington call it? Locus classicus. I am not a legal person, but you're making it look like locus classicus. You're making it look like it is also a class interest. You are beginning to make it look like it's a sectional thing. It is not. It should have been an individual versus state.
All right, then.
And it is going out of it.
All right, then. Thank you.
Public perception should be managed well.
Indeed. Well, thank you very much, Sachuka Nnabife, Managing Director, Anambra State Civic and Social Reformation Office. Well, thank you for your time and your thoughts on the program.
Thank you.
Big thanks also to Barrister Darlington Agumo, a public affairs commentator, VOP analyst. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
It's my pleasure.
Well, that's it on the show. I am Moses Humphrey, wishing you a beautiful day. Bye for now.
And I'm Fina. Okay, Chuku, enjoy the rest of your day. And do well to join Moses and Chukuma on top of the hour, 10 a.m. on Voice of the People TV.
I am Chukwuma Okoro. Join us again.
Everybody keep watching Voice of the People. All right? Love you all.
Hello, sweetie. What's going on? My name is Kiki. Keep watching VOP TV. Thanks.
Hey guys, what's going on? Olumide Oru, the Fresh Prince of Lagos here, and this is VOP TV, guys.
I want you to please keep on watching VOP TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Hafiz Oyetoro. Please keep watching VOP TV.
Shout out to VOP TV.
Very big shout out to the fans and lovers of VOP TV. My name is Tayo Faduro. I'm an actor that you are going to live to love. Keep watching. Cheers.
Hi everyone, so shout out to VOP TV.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more.
Join me on Sundays every 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Voice of the People TV.
Maritime Frontier.
Oh, we look. Adem. Where is he gonna sit? Oh. I don't know, I'm losing. Yeah, you can. I don't know, okay, there. Who drops this? No, puta. No, puta. Oh, we look. Adem. Where is he gonna sit? Oh. I don't know, I'm losing. Yeah, you can. I don't know, okay, there. Who drops this? No, puta. No, puta. Oh, we look. Adem. Where is he gonna sit? Oh. I don't know, I'm losing. you can. I don't think it. Okay, there. Who drops this? No, puta. No, puta.
Look at you.
Oh, there we go. Ademo. Where is he gonna sit? Oh. And the bottom lose. Yeah, you can. I don't think it. Okay, there. Who drops this? No, puta. No, puta.
Look at you.
Oh, there we go. Ademo. Where is he gonna sit? Oh. And the bottom lose. Yeah, you can. I don't think it. Okay, there. Who drops this? No, puta. No, puta.
Look at you.
Well, thanks for joining us again. This is Newspaper Review. I am Moses Humphrey.
And I am Chukwuma Okoro. Thanks for staying with us.
And of course, we have Barrister Darlington Nagumo staying back from VOP this morning. Joe, Barrister, thank you very much for staying. And we have joining us Daily Fanimo, who is a seasoned reporter and also a VOP analyst. So thank you very much for staying. Now, right there on your screen just before the show, you saw the video of an amateur video, actually, of Nnamdi Kanu in court today as we wait for trial to start. And his legal team has been increased by 6. Now he has more SAN, 6 SAN added to his legal team, bringing the number to 19 of them defending Nnamdi Kanu as he goes, as he appears in court today. Gentlemen, now, talking about this, Chukwuma, I'd like to start with you now. What are your thoughts on this one? Do you foresee any special significance to the number that is in court with him today?
In all honesty, I don't. You know why I don't? Because this case is more like, it's not the legal tidbits that matters anymore. You know, it is actually a political case. Because if you say that the addition of 14 senior advocates will make a difference, you are clearly saying that, look, the other 15 people have not done a good job. They've not been diligent in the prosecution and in the defense of Nnamdi Kanu's case and all of that. And I don't want to believe that.
This Barrister already disagrees.
No, Barrister is already disagreeing with me. Okay. But I am of the opinion that, look, this thing is not going to make any difference. Why? Because the case is clearly a political case. It's no longer legal because the courts have acquitted, the courts discharged him. The federal government went back and slammed fresh charges against him. So, what happened to those charges that were, quashed by lawyers that led, in defense and all of that? So this is a clear case of politics. So I don't see the guest on the morning show, Chukwuma, if made reference to Musharraf Perez when lawyers trooped out, and went to court. But I'm happy also that he said something about, the thing, deciding to a protest. People have been protesting. Igbos have been protesting for the past 4 years or so. Every Monday they sit at home and say, look, release this young man. So I know Onyechi Ikpeazu is one fine lawyer. I understand that he has not lost a case since he started practice. But is this going to be a different thing altogether? I also like the fact that Chuka said that, look, it's taking a political dimension, which goes back to what I said. This case is purely a political case. It's not dependent on the diligence of defense and prosecution. That is it for me.
Thank you, Mr. Okoro, but I will tell you the facts here.
Okay.
The lawyers have done a good job. It's a legal matter, as it is now. Because Nnamdi Kanu is being accused of terrorism charges. It's not a political issue. That is the allegation on his head. Now,
no, sorry, Barrister, I hate to butt in. It's not a political issue, but Nnamdi's case has turned political. No. Is he not a political prisoner?
No, it has not turned to that because it is...
Okay, because the courts have clearly said you have no right, you rendition this man. You don't even have the local standard to try him. So why is the court still trying him? Why is the federal government still prosecuting the case?
Yes, it is now... Look, when you are talking of political issue, it is either a politician who is making trouble with the government and they now just put him somewhere.
No, Barrister, I don't agree with you.
I am coming. Let me explain this thing to you, please. That is when it returns to a political issue, when somebody is a politician and he does not agree with the ruling government and the government are looking for a way to pigeonhole him somewhere.
Is that not what the case of Nnamdi Kanu is all about?
I'm coming now. Nnamdi Kanu was never a politician.
Barrister, who is a politician? Must you hold public office before you are designated a politician?
No. Please, Nnamdi Kanu is not a politician. He's a self-determination group leader. That's what he is now. He has said it severally.
So, Barrister, why are we looking for a political track, a political solution to the Nnamdi Kanu case? Because you have said severally too that, look, that we need a political case. You have cited the cases of Showore and Igboho several times on the studio.
Those ones now, you can see the dimension you saw the dimension it took, especially that of Showore.
Okay.
He is known to be a politician. He contested the election. Abi? So those ones, you cannot now mix it up with Nnamdi Kanu's case. The allegation is what we are looking at here. Terrorism charges.
Barrister.
It is when you now listen.
I had to allow this to drag, you know, but Nnamdi Kanu's case, the court, like you said, you also said that a court has let him go. You also agreed and admit here that a court said you don't even have the local standard to try this man because you rendition him. Rendition is illegal. And the court said you don't have right to try him. Yet the federal government is still trying him. Why? Is it not a political case?
No. The federal government brought new charges.
Why did they?
Because after the 15-count charges was quashed at the appeal court, the federal government now took the matter to Supreme Court. And that is where we are now. Are you getting it? That is where we are. So the issue here is that the legal luminaries in that court, they want to prove to the federal government that they are wrong in law.
All right then.
That is why we are. That's why we are where we are today. They want to prove to the federal government they are wrong in law.
Barrister, this is not sorry, Moses. Barrister, this is not the first time lawyers have proved to government that they are that they are wrong. The same government went back, immediately rearrested him and slammed fresh charges on him.
That's what we are saying.
Barrister, that is not what we are saying. We are saying two different things.
No, we are not. They have not rearrested Nnamdi Kanu when the court have discharged and acquitted him. They only brought fresh charges after that appeal court had been quashed.
So why didn't they let him go?
No, because they brought fresh charges against him.
Why did they bring fresh charges against him?
Because that is what they want, and that's what this lawyer.
That is what they want. Isn't that politics?
No. That's what we are trying to prove to the government that you are wrong. That is just a simple truth.
Okay. Okay. All right then. So this conversation will continue with everyone, you know, being entitled to their own views. Doctor, let me call you Honorable. What's your thoughts? What are your thoughts?
You didn't have Babe Saleh.
Well,
please note that for defamation. Talking seriously, I want to align with Chukwuma that this thing is taking its political dimension. Then you also look at the array of senior lawyers, senior advocates. And that brings me to one incident that happened some years back. Somebody was fighting alimony in UK. He had a very good case. But when the Queen's Counsel came face to face with him, the first question he asked is, what he told the man is, look, you have a very good case, but the area of judges sitting on the bench against you, I will advise that you settle out of court. Because you imagine a woman fighting divorce and heading towards alimony, and you have all the women chauvinists sitting on the bench against a man. You should know that you already had a judgment before the judgment is passed. So whatever it is, lawyers are very, very smart. They know how to wriggle out of a quagmire. And so the point is, as it is today, starting a fresh case with Nnamdi Kanu, I consider it as elongating unnecessarily the continued stay of this man in detention. Because processes would also be stunted through claims, counter-claims, and affidavit, counter-affidavit at the end of the day. But every minute, not even a day, every minute this man stays in detention, it's reducing his ability to move on with his life. And it's also reducing his ability to even hold on to his family. Because the pressure would have been on the wife, if not for the support that he's getting. A woman cannot stay for that long and still expect a comeback. You remember what happened to Nelson Mandela in South Africa?
shortly after he was released. You know what happened to the wife? You know, things like that. Because I'm looking at the emotional part of this thing.
He's still a young man. He's still a young man.
And then we'll go and marry again.
The wife will wait.
Mandela got married. You see, Mandela got married to Samora Mache's wife. But still, what we are seeing is a lot of emotional damage is being wrought on this man. And so the ideal that I consider is how to make sure that this thing, either we like it or not, no matter the coloration, is still a political thing. And so it will still require political solution to find a way out of this logjam.
As far as I'm concerned, this matter is going to even help Nnamdi Kanu's fight for self-determination. Because the whole world is going to see it from that prism, that this is now a persecution, not a prosecution. So the federal government is helping the man's case. That's the truth.
All right.
And that's where everybody look at it now. It's now what? A persecution, not prosecution. Because if you consider what is going on in Nigeria today, with Nnamdi Kanu being detained, you ask yourself, come, these other people that have done worse things than Nnamdi Kanu,
so now that
where are they being prosecuted?
Prosecution. So you align with the fact that it will need a political solution to solve.
You mean where the case is now? No, the federal government wanted to go through the whole court process, and we agree. Let me see how they will prove it in court. Because remember what Binta Nyako said, that the federal government cannot sustain this charge against Nnamdi Kanu. She said it. That is why over these years, nothing has been done on that case.
Okay.
The federal government just rigmaroled, looking for a way. You know, I don't know what they are trying to get out of this man. So it will help. In fact, when the Igbo said that they are being marginalized, it will help our case so that the whole world will see.
You have just validated what Chukwuma just said, that this is political.
No, hold on.
If you
say it's okay, let's not go back.
It is not assumption. Let it be seen. Because if it did not go through the whole court process, nobody will know what happened at the end of the day.
But Barrister, would you prefer this case goes through the whole hog of the legal system and it lasts for the next 12 years? Or do you want a political solution where the case of Showore and Iboho were treated and dispensed with easily?
I have told you why those two left, because their brother is there. You and I know
so
that.
It is political, Barrister.
Hold on. All the Igbo leaders have gone to Asorok to plead with Buhari when he was in government.
Okay.
What came out of it?
So what does the federal government want?
They went to Tinubu.
What exactly does the federal government want?
They want to prove a case that cannot be proven. That's it.
So where does that leave in Nnamdi? Where does that leave in Nnamdi?
Let the court now decide. Because
the court that had decided before?
No, look, Mr. Okoro, let the court now decide.
Okay.
That's what we are saying. Yeah, because they wanted it. We did everything. All because that's why I don't want to go through that your route about political. They don't want it.
It's okay.
They don't want political solution. Okay. After we did everything anybody can do. Did they listen to us? Even one man said that they should hand Nnamdi Kanu over to him. Soludo, governor of Anambra, hand over Nnamdi Kanu, and anytime you want, I will bring him. Did they listen to him? So what else do you want us to do? Tell me.
All right. Then.
And if we now say we don't want court case, they say you see, they are running away from court case. Let them go to court and let me see how they will prove it. Because even a layman who doesn't know anything about law know that it will be impossible for them to prosecute Nnamdi Kanu. In the first place, where is the
they're not prosecuting him now.
All right. Let's move on to another conversation.
Because jurisdiction is there.
Thank you very much. Now, let's
there.
look at the Punch newspaper. Now, the banner headline on the Punch has, the headline here says NNPCL under fire as $897 million Warri Refinery revamp flops. Warri Refinery shut down, drags on since January 25. Port Harcourt Refinery struggles at under 40% production capacity. And yes, those are the headlines. That's the headline and the riders to that story. Barrister, why are you chuckling?
In fact, look, where is Fatuke? Fatuke should have been here.
Barrister.
Seriously, he should have been here to defend this. Remember when this thing came out, I told you it is a hoax. Warri Refinery working. Port Harcourt Refinery working, and it was being celebrated. I remember I debated this thing with Patuke here. He said, they are making progress. You can see now. I told you it's a lie. It's not working. So, what is going on now? You cannot lie forever. No, at a point, your lie will expose you. It will expose you. So, what are we going to say now after all the celebration, after all the rasbatas?
Okay. I think it would be wise we took a little peep into this story. I'm going to start from, yes, we hear that an April 2025 document on the midstream and downstream sector obtained from the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority revealed that the refinery, which consumed $897.6 million in maintenance cost, failed to produce premium motor spirit and was shut down barely a month after former NNPC Group Chief Executive Officer Billy Kyari declared it operational. Now, industry operators and experts describe this as disheartening, while further findings show that Port Harcourt Refinery Company, which resumed operations in November 2024, has been operating below 40% capacity. And the Punch reports that 125,000 barrels per day capacity Warri Refinery, which had been moribund for decades due to technical issues, was brought back to life by the National Oil Company on December 30, 2024. And, you all know the story already. So that gives you an idea of how much has been spent so far.
So where is the money now? Where is the money? You mean it's gone?
But when you ask where is the money, you mean it's gone. It's very clear. I think sometimes when I try to look at the legacies of some of our leaders, I still put Obasanjo, somewhere up there. Obasanjo clearly said, look, these refineries are unserviceable. He sold them off. He sold the refineries off. And I keep telling people, I started my career, as a young PR person within the oil industry. In Port Harcourt there, I used to visit Port Harcourt refineries 1 and 2. My company used to bid for turnaround maintenance. I know what went down in all those places. They don't maintain anything. They don't maintain anything. And I'm telling you, this thing is about 32 years or 35 years ago. And for all those periods, that refinery has been moribund. Now there's a new technology. New technologies have come, overtaken. There are new brands of refineries. And like sometime Obasanjo said, let us sell off these things. He actually did. They said no. He was selling to his friends and cronies and all of that. Yaradua came and reversed the whole thing. Look at how much we sank into the refineries. 9 times they promised us, 9 times they failed. And after 1 month, we are being told that it is producing below capacity. Meanwhile, we are not talking about the Warri Refinery. We are still talking about Port Harcourt 1, not even 1 and 2. A refinery that was built in 1965, factor in the new technology, that has over time. We are talking about more than 50 years ago.
Well, isn't that what the revamping is supposed to have done?
What are you revamping? I'm telling you about turnaround maintenance. That they don't turn around anything. And we have full officialdom of staff from managing director, executive director, general manager at different levels working. Some of them train overseas and they go for annual training. What are they doing? And you sank $780-something million into that. Now maybe we should call
897.
809, close to $1 million. No, close to $1 billion.
Close to $1 billion.
Close to $1 billion. So let Melek Kyari come and tell us what went down.
You see, in fact, I think I deserve a trophy in this. Because I remember I told you that these people are just playing to the gallery. When government begins to struggle to defend certain actions, be sure that
this is deception.
It's clear deception.
Horrible
deception.
It's clear deception.
Watch it. Anytime government is out there struggling to defend a policy or an action, be sure that you need to look deeper and you find out that it is opposite what they are saying that is happening. Activists came from Port Harcourt. It was on air in some TV stations. they were saying clearly that we have not even seen a truck taking fuel out of
that place.
any of these countries. Then we still tend to believe a government official telling us the other story. I know. Look, there is no way you can calibrate a B2 car and make it a Mercedes Benz. There is no way. We were told, even during Obasanjo's regime, that those companies that came to set up these refineries, they are no more. So how will you now calibrate a B2 car that was manufactured in the 70s and say you want it to conform with present day cars?
But if we are serious in this country, and by we I mean the government.
Moses, have you forgotten that at a point during Obasanjo's regime, during Abacha's regime, hairdressers were given turnaround maintenance. It was as bad. People who never knew anything about petroleum industry were given turnaround maintenance.
But let's look at this figure now. Almost $1 billion, specifically $897.6 million.
That's over $1 trillion naira.
Isn't that enough to build new refineries?
In other countries,
today's world,
other countries,
even
you build modular refineries.
So why couldn't we have just built a new one?
You see,
if the old one is outdated, now if the equipment there, the tunnels, everything cannot work, why don't we just build? This is a lot of money.
No, you see, when I tell you that there are some evil forces that are holding Nigeria down, you think I'm lying?
There are no evil forces holding Nigeria. Nigerians are the one holding down Nigeria.
No, hold on, Mr. Okoro. My Bible said that we are not fighting against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers.
It's only enough in Nigeria that
against rulers of powers and against spiritual wickedness in high places. You think the Bible is talking rubbish?
How come that your Bible only operates in Africa? Those principalities and powers, are they not in Europe?
Oh, but no, not in Africa. After all, some African countries are making headway now.
Okay, so
even Ghana here, have they not moved on? South Africa, have they not moved on? That's what I'm saying. In your own case, it's peculiar. That's what I'm telling you here, that Nigeria, there are some powers that be. They make sure that Nigeria will remain in darkness.
It's a problem of leadership. It's a problem of
that leadership. Why is it that it's only your leadership? Why did God bless you with the bad leaders who don't have vision?
Barrister, it is not God that blesses. People get the leadership they deserve, and people deserve the leadership they
Why
get.
Is it that
it is our own makings. Let us not bring God into this
Every
thing.
time the card is shuffled, one bad leader will emerge. Each time we want to move forward, something will happen to truncate it. We'll go back to square one. Do you know that where we are today,
you have to blame followership for that.
Where we are today, it will take 15 years for us to come out of this place and then begin to move on. That is after clearing the 140-something trillion naira debt you are owing, because you need to pay your debt for you to move on. It is only when you have done. So, which leader will come now that will not go and borrow money and tell us one story or the other about how the past government finished all the money that we need to borrow in order to be sustained, in order to do this, in order to do that? So, when you are blaming the people, blame the forces that throw up these leaders.
Barrister, it is the people
who
that
are these forces?
Who are these forces now?
It is forces that you are.
Is it not clear how we take 10,000 naira to mortgage our future for 4 years? Why are we taking 10,000? Ghana here, the last election before the conducted one, they rejected bags of rice. Can't we reject it here?
They rejected those with things. The level of hunger, nobody will do that.
That level of hunger should even spur people into action.
Yes.
To say, I'm hungry today, I don't want to be hungry tomorrow.
That is why some of us are praying that we should get to that level. Because
when stop praying, start acting.
No, hold on.
Start acting. We have prayed enough. We have been praying since 1960. People that started with us. We just mentioned Vietnam. We just mentioned Singapore, Malaysia. People that started with us.
History does not repeat itself. It is men that repeat history. We should have learned from Ruffian Revolution and French Revolution. Was it not hunger and hardship that caused the two of them?
So why is our own case different?
So why is our hunger not
it has not gotten to that level. That one praying. Let the hunger get to that level where people will say.
You are praying for the hunger to get to that level. We turn around to blame the APC government for bringing hunger to the people.
Yes, so that we'll do what the Russians did in 1718 and do what the French did in 1759.
Barrister, our case
let's do it.
Is worse than what the French people experienced.
No, it has not gotten to there.
Barrister, how much is a loaf of bread? Do you know what caused the Russian Revolution?
I said it has not gotten
Barrister,
to there.
do you know what caused the Russian Revolution?
Of course, the price of bread. And the woman
said Algeria about 15-20 years ago. It was the price of bread because the
protests in Kenya.
No, not
even the protests in Kenya.
Taxes.
So what are we waiting for? Is it when all of us are dead?
It has not gotten there. If it has, you see the reaction. Don't worry yourself. It has not gotten there. Are you telling me? When they got all the people that are supporting APC, even the people that are running to APC, they will jump out. They will be the one to lead the protests and the rioting.
Okay.
I'm not joking.
Some more headlines.
Get to that place.
Some more headlines here. The window headlines now. Hurricane Tinubu. More governors will join APC. Ganduje boasts.
That's progress. That's progress.
Diaspora voting. INEC pushes for constitutional amendment. Papal elections guided by Holy Spirit, not politics at Bishop.
Exactly.
And then, beside the masthead, tension among Sunny Ade's children over music legends' whereabouts. The daughter, one of the daughters, is calling out her other siblings of basically hijacking the man, booking shows for him, collecting monies without him performing at the shows. And she says he's been unreachable. She has tried to call. She has called his number a lot of times. He has not picked up, and he's not on social media as well. So he's basically been kidnapped by one of his sons.
How many wives does he have? One.
I think 5. Is it 5?
I don't have.
I think it's in the plural form.
Okay, in the plural form.
As
okay, so because one daughter is accused of that.
No, I was just asking an honest question.
Okay.
No, it's common with politicians. I mean, musicians now. It's common. The other one has 40 children. Abi.
Which other one?
Is it not Kwam 1 or Kwam 2?
Okay.
So, and he's proud of it.
Kwam is Ayinde Barrister, Abi?
No.
Is it?
Ayinde
Barrister.
Okay,
Kwam 1 is
Ken Wasiu.
Ken Wasiu Ayinde.
So, say they have 40 children. And I didn't come from one wife now. So
Still counting.
He's still counting, yeah. And he's still a young man. He even wanted to collect Oni's one. So, the guy is very vibrant.
Barrister.
What do you want to say about the whereabouts of King KSA?
Let them look for him. Let them consult the oracle.
It's a family issue.
Affair.
And for me, they will always come like this. When you raise a polygamous family, there's always this contestation for attention and then for creaming you out of the wealth. Maybe they consider their weight too long and they want to have it here on earth, that waiting for the man to pass on. But talking seriously, King Sunny Ade has done well for himself and still waxing strong. But if somebody has decided, and I'm sure that it is the wish of Sunny Ade to submit himself to one of the children, maybe because he trusts that guy, that he could manage him. And so if other children can't get access to him, there must be a reason for that. Maybe they become pain in the neck to the man.
And they can't even reach him.
Yeah, because there is this Olori Ebi in your Abi.
Yes.
So he must be the one to take care of him.
He must be the one to take care of him.
So
and take charge of
Olori Ebi? The first
head of the family. Family. So
okay, I think my worry here is that Sunny Ade is still alive and we see this happening.
All of this happening.
All of this is happening. So what happens when he passes on?
Well,
it's going to be a bigger issue.
Except that if he decides to die intestate.
He said
somebody like that, I expect that he should have a will.
There should be a will.
So that he didn't have a will.
He didn't write a will.
Okay, Rotimi Williams.
He didn't write a will.
Okay.
I think Abiola did not too.
Abiola didn't too. But Adesokola did.
Okay.
He listed everything.
But we have also seen waves being contested.
Yeah, well,
that is if you can prove that the man wrote it when
Under
he was
duress.
Under influence.
or he was not in a good state of mind,
yes.
or old days
And that is the contestation.
senility.
So,
that is
meanwhile, while you are contesting the will, people are grabbing what they can. You know, people are grabbing what they can and say after we go to court and settle it.
That was why in the case of Obasanjo, while when Yar'Adua left under Abacha's whatever, they now said, no, this one will not come back. So they started dragging whatever they can, believing that he will not come out alive. But Stella was...
in Obasanjo's case?
Yes,
okay.
but Stella was still fighting, That was why when eventually he emerged, he now said he doesn't want to see any of them near him except to Stella. And there are other stories behind it. But what I'm saying is that men, as you are searing children here and there, put your house in order so that the story will not be told of a man who made all the name, all the money, and when he left, the family become a sorry state. Look at those properties along Mafuluku here that belongs to Abiola. Do you know that those children would have... Airport Road, yes.
Where you have Concord.
Yes.
Yeah.
Seven businesses closed down because of what? Family scoreboard. Kola couldn't manage it. In fact, the guy just ran away from those businesses because of what? Family troubles. If he had done it proper, those businesses would have been running now. And it will help to even, promote Abiola's heritage and his name. But look at it. When last did you hear of Abiola's name or his companies? All because of this thing. All because of this thing. I don't know when we are going to learn. It's very bad, seriously. And the whole Sonny Ade, look at the name he had made for himself. All of a sudden, this story is coming out. While he's alive, while he's alive. It's so sad. I don't know why we are not learning.
One of the musicians that I still hold in very high esteem is Ebenezer Obey.
Yes, Ebenezer Obey, yeah.
He was, in spite of the fame, he was conscious of his old age and he managed his family properly. You understand?
Even when the wife died,
then Barrister also did well for himself in that regard. He made sure, for the period he was alive, he made sure he trained his children to the extent that they could be on their own even after his
even when
that's why you never get to hear all this kind of thing around Ebenezer Obey and Barrister.
I say even when Ebenezer Obey's wife died, I don't know whether he had remarried.
I don't think he remarried.
So he just kept to himself and all that, and that's why he's still at his old age, living peacefully. At that age, high blood pressure with family issue can just take the man off.
Oh, well, let's move on to another
Don't you think you need a wife now?
Let's move on to another.
It's not a young girl.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fanimo.
Why not? Why not arrange one for him?
Another headline here, Obedience tackles Sanwo-Olu over attack on Peter Obi. I like your take on that one. And then we'll also talk about this headline, Gender Advocates Hail Death Sentence for late Osinachi's husband. Right? Well, we've Chukwuma and I have talked about this, but we can also, still talk about it again. And alleged fraud, court orders businesswoman Achimogu's appearance. Now, these two stories. Let's take your.
This Osinachi thing. I want to comment about it.
Before we do that one, let's talk about the obedience tackles Sanwo-Olu over attack on Peter Obi. Let's talk about that briefly before we go to Osinachi's issue.
That's for Barrister.
No, that's for you. It's your brother. It's you. It's for you. It's your brother.
You know the back and forth.
Your brother is attacking my brother. So go and tell us why. Or do you want to attack me?
Are you sure that I'm not a Nigerian?
Peter Obi was in Johns Hopkins University.
Yes.
So some of the comments he made that he shouldn't have made such comments.
According to some.
Who shouldn't have made?
That Peter Obi shouldn't have made such comments.
Is it your opinion or what?
No, he is saying what Sanwo-Olu said.
That is damaging to the reputation of Nigeria. Yeah, for me.
He also said that poverty levels were very high when Obi was governor of Anambra.
No, you can't say that.
No, and that is what Sanwo-Olu said.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. You see, politicians being what they are, they are adept at saying things as a matter of expediency to show that they have that political correctness. But I'm not going to buy the fact that Anambra was poorer than Peter Obi met it. Ngige laid a good foundation, and he was able to build on some of those legacies, and he did well for himself in Anambra. So that is not something that we can contest here.
You see,
the other thing is, yes, we have myriads of problems in Nigeria, and one of it is bad leadership. Bad leadership cuts across. You have the presidency, you have the state government houses, and even local government. It cuts across. But then, I think there is a limit to how we denigrate the
Now,
country.
some have said the issue. Some are, holding on to this from the issue of demarketing. At what point would you say you are demarketing a product, or at what point would you say you are speaking truth?
I think Dele doesn't want to call a spade this morning.
How do I call it?
I call it a shovel. It's
okay. So there is no reason on earth that somebody like Sonolu will be saying what he's saying against Tinubu, that is demarketing Nigeria. I mean, I was thinking he will even start with his principal. Because
when Buhari said Nigerian youths are lazy, was that demarketing Nigeria?
He was. He was demarketing Nigeria and Nigerian youth. Yes, he was.
Peter being saying poverty level, there's no progress, no growth. Is that demarketing Nigeria?
It is not, because that's
how so? No. I reason with Barrister because what Barrister is saying is that when Buhari said that Nigerian youths are lazy,
are we lazy? Are we lazy?
The answer is no.
No.
So he was demarketing the youth.
Good. But in this case now, what Peter Obi said about poverty level,
is it true?
Is it true? Was it Peter Obi that said it from the World Bank and IMF? No, tell me.
Or is it Peter Obi that is turned out the statistics from MBS?
I'm telling you. When you are talking about the marketing, the scandal from CSU that even damaged Nigeria's reputation and image, was it Peter Obi's fault? Didn't you see what happened?
I thought you even wanted to ask Barrister when the president went to Brazil and said, look, we need help, but we can't even go to farm again because headers are pushing farmers and we are hungry. Was that the marketing?
No, it was Peter Obi that said it. So
no, when Barrister, was that the marketing Nigeria?
In fact, it is the height of the marketing.
But that he was telling the truth.
But that's the truth.
Hold on. As the president, listen very well. As the president,
he shouldn't have done that.
Yes.
But Peter Obi can do
because
that.
you are chief image maker of the country.
Okay, so
you went to Saudi Arabia and say yes, there is corruption in Nigeria. If you come with your business.
Was it the marketing in Nigeria?
In fact, it was embarrassment.
But he was telling the truth.
That was not how to tell the truth. As no. You see, hold on.
The thing about
Peter Obi is not the president. He's like every other Nigeria, a common Nigeria, because he's not in office yet.
He's not a common Nigeria.
Hold on. Peter Obi is a common Nigerian.
He's not.
A former governor cannot be a common Nigerian.
Hold on. As of today, he's not in office. So he can criticize the opposition, the government in power.
First, you and I, we have never been in office, but we are criticizing government. I think analysis is seeing the same two sides of the same coin.
What I'm not saying is that, look, as the chief executive of Nigeria, you can't go out there and say such things. You are the one.
So as the chief executive, you can go there and...
They will take you more serious than if any other Nigerian have gone to say it.
So apparently what you're saying is that Sanwo-Olu was right in saying that.
He wasn't right. He wasn't right. Because what Peter Obi said is what has been said and what is known to everybody. It is obvious.
But what Tinubu said was what has been said and is known.
No, as the president of Nigeria, as the president, all the things that you have said and done so far.
When a certain UK Prime Minister said that Nigeria is fantastically corrupt, was he marketing or demarketing Nigeria?
He was demarketing Nigeria, and Buhari was there that day.
Corrupt.
Is it not obvious?
So how do you say he was demarketing Nigeria?
Because it's not
because he was telling us the truth to our faces.
Hold on. Did Buhari reply because he was present?
Because Buhari knew that he was right.
So what are you not saying?
So is that done? You say it's the marketing?
I am telling you, Mr. Okoro, if you go out there as a Nigerian and say things that is true, I will applaud you. But for the president of the continent,
okay, so you want the president to go and lie?
Let him even not even lying. Not even lying.
Barrister Darlington,
Barrister Darlington is not saying that there is diplomatic line.
Yeah, of course. No. What is diplomacy?
Okay, in the
what is diplomacy? Diplomacy. You are trained to lie. That's what a diplomat does.
Okay,
so you're a diplomat. You go and lie.
But Tinubu is not a diplomat.
As the leader of the country,
he has assumed the position of a diplomat.
He's in fact number one diplomat
of this country.
Number one diplomat. Yes. So if you are going to say all those things, why should Sanwo-Olu now blame P2B? That's my question here.
See, I think for the optics, what Sanwo-Olu did was within the realm of politics. Like I said in the morning, during the morning
it was
show.
wrong politics.
No, during the morning show, Sanwo-Olu has suddenly found his voice.
No.
Because he's been. Sorry, Barrister, I'm coming. You know he's been thrown under the bus, and all of us understand what is going on in Lagos. So a lot of people also say, look, he wants to say this so that he will warm himself to the heart of his principal. Meanwhile, you understand that whenever P2B comes, the APC becomes very jittery. He is not the only person that has said that. Shogu Showumi also said that, look, P2B, stop the marketing Nigeria outside Nigeria. And by the way, we want you to come back to the PDP. And the question I keep asking, in all of this, has Peter Obi ever gone out to tell a lie? Has he ever said something that is not correct? About the inflation figures, about the poverty levels, about the corruption of level, about the decline in economy and education? And the answer is no. So clearly he's not the marketing Nigeria. The people that are the marketing Nigeria are the leaders who take money that don't belong to them, who say we want to do this and do a different thing altogether. By their actions don't even inspire patriotism. That is pure the marketing, and not somebody who goes to say, look, we started with Vietnam, we started with Singapore and Malaysia. Look at where they are. Look at where we are today. And World Bank says, at a point, World Bank says your currency is at par with that of Sudan, a country at war. And they even said that our poverty levels equates that of Ethiopia, Sudan, DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo. And we have a leadership that says, look, we are doing very well. Our policies are impactful. You know, Nigerians are better off than they were 15, 20 years ago. I mean, what is that supposed to tell you?
Do you even know where I quarrel with Sanwo-Olu on this matter? He should have gone to deliver a very sound message at Harvard School of whatever.
Which he did. Well, he tried to promote Lagos.
He didn't. What we are saying now is that, why did you go personal against P2B, knowing fully well that you are talking the opposite? That P2B poverty increased under his watch. There was no school, this and that. I mean, these are personal issues now. You are now attacking him. Instead of looking at the issue he raised. Please, Nigerians, is it true that under P2B there was no progress in Anambra? And I ask a question. The P2B you are hearing today, is it not the progress he made in Anambra that is promoting him, that is selling him all over the world? Is it not because he was governor of Anambra State? And he performed creditably. Okay, so why would you not discountenance it?
Let's move away from that
because we want to talk.
Okay. Let's now talk about
Osinachi.
The death sentence placed on Nwachukwu. That's his name.
Peter Nwachukwu.
Peter Nwachukwu, the husband to late Osinachi Nwachukwu. Well, the case has been, judgment has been given. He's been sentenced to death. And then there are other counts, a fine of 500,000.
He has the appeal court and Supreme Court.
A fine of 500,000. Jail term, 3 years for some counts, on some counts, 2 years on some counts, you know. And the fact that 2 of his children testified against him, he brought 4 people to testify for him on his behalf. But, you know, and then part of the revelation was that, like I said in the morning, part of it was that the children testified that, look, that their father will beat them and then record them crying and play it back on his phone. And then he would beat their mother. He had pushed her out of a moving vehicle. He would beat her up, lock her in the house, prevent the children from going to help her, you know. And on many occasions, she has been said to prevent people from stepping in to you know, quell whatever was going on between them. She would always say, look, leave my husband, don't interfere. It's between my husband and I. You know, he prevented her from, access to her own money.
And her own car.
Her own car as well. In all of this, what are your thoughts?
The thing is that you learn from what happened to others.
Some are of the opinion that you don't render the children orphans just because one partner, is allegedly kills the other.
That is why the lady lawyer is blindfolded. When you want to deliver judgment, you don't look at the sentiment, the gender or whatever. The law is the law. That is why that lady is blinded. So you will not look at your face. Is it true that this man committed a heinous crime? Yes. So he will now go and marry another wife and be enjoying himself with that wife, Abi? Whereas the woman that built that home.
You don't think that, for the sake of arguments, don't you think he might change seeing the effects of his actions
if it was an assault and the lady maybe survived it? Yes, that argument will come, but a lady died. A lady died.
Because we are almost
a lady died, and that is somebody's daughter.
For me, it's a case that is instructive for those who want to learn. And it shows that when I read that judgment yesterday, the first question I asked myself is, why would a man be disposed to beating his wife? Yet that man will be slapped by a soldier and he would keep his cool. Can't he exhibit that anger management in the face of a gun-toting soldier with his wife at home?
No, then we have gone through, or they have gone through all the issue of the sentence. What do you say about it?
You see, for me, the sentence is okay. He deserves to be sentenced. Going by the testimonies of those two kids, because those two kids were too young to be manipulated. They said it the way they saw it. You recall that this woman, Pauline Tallen, former minister, jumped into the fray and made sure that they held to those children so that they would not be manipulated.
Exactly.
So they gave a clear, vivid picture of what happened in their home. And if that was what happened, truly, then that man deserves what he got.
My position on this is that, like I said during the morning show, Osinachi and the husband Peter actually is because I've said, look, you killed this woman. But I am saying that, like in some jurisdictions in the US, there was a particular case. A man killed a woman's daughter. And the court said, no, this man killed your daughter. Now, what do you want? Do you want compensation or do you want us to kill the man? They had that in their jurisprudence. Within that jurisdiction, they had that opportunity to allow the plaintiff say, what do you want the court to do? And the woman said, giving me money is an insult. If you kill this man, my daughter is not going to come back. So let the man go. And I'm saying, for the sake of these children, is it possible we have that kind of opening in our jurisprudence to say,
only the lawyer can say something.
I just asked a question.
No. This is beyond pleading allocutus. It's not. It doesn't add up here. The thing is that a life is involved here. And the way and manner this man committed this crime, he deserves a severe
penalty. So you consider the fate of the children going forward?
It's not in all cases that you do this. These children would have still lived. There are so many orphans that have made it in life without their parents. Is that not true? They'll be taken care of.
Anchor the conversation. Thank you very much, Barrister Darlington Agumo. Big thanks also.
Please, Moses, let me add this. Please, when it's getting bad, get out.
All
when
right,
it is getting bad, get out.
That's it on the show. Chukwuma Okoro will be back here later this evening at 6 p.m. for Political Lens. Join him then. I am Moses Humphrey. I'll see you tomorrow. And of course, stay with VOP, channel 264. That's how we appear on SLTV. And promises to be interesting. All right, don't miss out on any of the programs. Bye for now.